The Scott Ryfun Radio Show.
All right, let's do this thing. How are you? Good morning. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. Sorry about that, John. I didn't mean to upset and distress you. I just had trouble getting the stuff fired up this morning after, I guess, it sat cold for a weekend, and took a little bit extra to get it going for some reason. Just took extra couple of shakes. Well, it was weird because, like, my monitor, which is, huge, sitting in front of me, which provides a lot of the glow that makes me look pasty white. Not that it needs any help, besides Mother Nature, but monitor goes on and it's a TV, it's all it is. And went straight to Netflix for some reason, which I don't know why, but like I fired it up, and usually you fire it up, you go to the inputs, you change the input, et cetera, et cetera. This time it fired up and went to Netflix. So I had to back it out of Netflix. So anyway, how are you? Hope you had a great weekend. Let's see who all is here. Let's see. We'll start at the beginning and say hi to everybody. Wow, it goes way back there. First, we start with our thumbs up that we, again, it's not a program. It's not a stream until Paul McClellan has given us the thumbs up. It's good to see little Mikey there. By the way, note the first two commenters are on YouTube commenting. That's a good thing for us because, and yet there's another one, 147 doing it. Shaz Bazaar doing it as well. Bobby's doing it from YouTube. Mr. Kaysen is doing it on YouTube. Greg Atwood 8 is doing it, and this is good for us again because it helps helps us be found, basically helps us grow, helps us spread. And the good news is we're over 1,100 subscribers on YouTube. We've hit over 1,100. In the old days, our goal was 1,000, and then we said, well, all right, we hit the 1,000. We did that pretty quickly, and let's keep going with it. We're at 1,113 now so far, so we're steamrolling ahead towards 1,200 subscribers. I love it. Morning. Hopefully everybody has a blessed Monday. Indeed. Sorry about that, John. I didn't mean to. As I said, was having just a little trouble waking up the equipment this morning. I think it's because I let it sit this weekend. I didn't do much with it this weekend. I did other things. Boy, we were busy this weekend. Really, really busy. But I did make time to make sure Mrs. Ryfun got to see Spider-Man. I don't know if you've seen the numbers, but they're probably when the estimates came out yesterday, and I think it was like $927 million for the weekend worldwide. There's a very real chance that those numbers could be revised upward. I don't know that it'll get to $1 billion, but in one weekend, it's insane. And we kept looking at G-Man kept showing you can go on GTC and say you're going to order a movie, the Georgia Theater Company's website. You can say you're going to order tickets for a movie, and it'll show you all the seats that are already occupied. So he kept doing that and refreshing, and we started doing that even yesterday. I think when the final numbers come out today, Sunday is going to be bigger than they thought it was, because we looked at it a few times yesterday, and the GTC was blown up. I mean, it was, and me, I've talked about this for a little while about how much I love movie theaters. And people were kind of writing them off and declaring the death of movie theaters a few years ago. And I was going, no, we gotta save them. The big thing we have to have is movies that aren't going to streaming in 17 seconds and movies people really want to go see. And we saw that this weekend. Holy cow, the number of people that were at the theater this weekend. It was amazing. It was amazing. And it was spectacular. Let's see who else we have. We have a good morning from Dwayne. Number 33 is here from the South Georgia 40. Kathy's here. All of these guys are doing YouTube too. Thank you for that. Morning. Who else saw Spider-Man on X? I don't know what that means exactly. I need you to clarify on that one, sir. Good morning from Stanley. Pace says good morning. Jessica says she's here, and that's a good thing. Thank you very much. 155 is here, sir. Good to have you here. Pace is here on both fronts. Good for her. Tommy, let me tell you, Tommy sent me something. It arrived over the weekend. I forgot to drop him a note. I fully planned to. But again, I got busy Saturday. Great looking South Georgia 40 sign. Is it? Did I not put it in the? Oh, okay, I didn't put it in the studio, but it's here. It's here. Beautiful, beautiful piece of work. Absolutely beautiful piece of work. Great looking South Georgia 40 sign. I got to find a place on the shelf so that you can see it in the background when we go live on the air. 111 here also to the fellow members of the South Georgia 40. Good morning for the Guyton area, which means how far are you from the site of the proposed data center? That's my question. We've got Guyton and we got Rankin. Look at there. Sharon says good morning from Rankin. So we got Troy saying good morning from Guyton. We got Sharon saying good morning from Rankin. We need Springfield covered, and I think we got the whole thing wrapped up, right? Jim, greetings. Let's see. James, number 11, says good morning. Garrett says good morning. These are the folks up in North Georgia. Brad, 165. See, he's got a number. He's happy to have a number. Saw Spider-Man Saturday, wasn't that impressed. Parts, well, I don't know what's wrong. What parts were off? Now I'm curious. What parts were off? Tell me what those were. What parts were off? Amy, biggest Friday. I told you, biggest Friday ever. And I knew they were going to make a big deal out of the biggest Friday ever because it started at noon on Thursday. There's almost no way that it could be anything other than that. Oh, what nervous. Couldn't find us this morning. Sorry about that. Again, that was just me trying to get things going here this morning, and the stuff didn't start up. Roger says, Mother Manic Monday. I don't know what kind of Monday it's going to be. It's going to be an interesting and different Monday. You know me, I'm doing something different. I'm starting the position with the county this morning as a communications specialist. That is the job title. And I suspect today is going to be a lot of just cramming knowledge into my head. We'll see what happens. But it is also a thing where I can't go 2 hours. What would we do? 2:11, 2:12, something like that Friday. I can't do that today because I went to bed early last night so I could make sure I got up early and got showered and got ready. And then, be stress-free this morning. And of course, what did I do? I looked at my alarm when it went off at 5:30 and said, that's nice. And the next thing I knew, it was 6. So I lost all my extra time this morning. So, yeah, I'm going to be scrambling afterwards. So I can't stay a long time. Guytown Nash says, hi. Brad Cooper says, mooring. So he's going to be putting his boat in the dock. That's a good thing. Kieran says, happy Monday. Rick says, good morning. I mean, look at all the people here. On this day, 1936, Jesse Owens won the 100-meter dash at the Berlin Olympics and embarrassing the home country Superman. Adolf Hitler was appalled. Actually, he always had a bit of a pout. Very nice. Very nice. Ricky says, good morning. The show title is intriguing. Oh, no, it's nothing other than I'm starting a new adventure today because I'm going to start the employment with Glenn Canty this morning as a communications specialist. And we'll see how that goes from there. We'll see. And again, I remind people because it's funny because no matter how many times I say it, when people hear I'm going to start this job with the county, they say, well, what's going to happen to the show? And nothing's going to happen to the show. We're still working towards the same goal. It was one of the conversations we had with the folks with Glenn County. I say one of the conversations. It was multiple conversations we had with the folks in Glenn County is, can I do both? If I can't do both, then we probably shouldn't have this conversation anymore. And they were very happy to say, yes, we can do both. You can do both. We want, it's a full-time position with the county. And so they want their full-time commitment for me. And I get that. And they'll get that from me. And it's going to be interesting because it is kind of an, there are set hours during the day, but also at the same time, one of the things I said, well, you'll kind of be on call 24 hours a day. And I'm thinking that's not any different from what I've done for the last 30 years. So we'll be okay. We'll be all right. Pam says, good morning. Bryant says, good morning from Pooler. Let's see. Silver City, Sterling. There you go. Garrett needs a number. Now, Garrett, you've been here all this time. You don't have a number. Are you kidding me? I did say we'd give away 3 numbers a day. We have yet to give away a number today. So Garrett's going to get number 188. There you go. 188 goes to Garrett Mosley. Done. Google does not recognize your device to allow you to sign up on YouTube. You're stuck on Facebook. We'll get you. We'll get you taken care of. We'll do it. We'll get you there. Let's see. Spider-Man was uploaded to X and stayed for hours until Sony could get it down. Really? That's terrible. And still, look what it did. Still, look how much money it made. Even though pirates like you were stealing. Let's see. I agree, Jeff. A fair distance from the data center. Not that worried about it. Good. I'm very glad to hear that. Good morning from Upside Down. Look, that's I don't want to know what island that is. Don't need to know. Black Widow was played as her sister. Hmm. Hmm. I don't know. I'm a little confused by that. You gotta give me a little more than that. She was played kind of as she was in Thunderbolts. Uh, I enjoyed her. I thought she was a great part of that whole thing. Henry Voss 137 in. Hello from North Georgia. Mrs. 165. Jennifer. Will there be a first day of work picture? No. I mean, unless they do. I'm not. You know me. I don't do that stuff. That is so not me. It's not even funny. Let's see. You don't know how happy it makes me that I can in the future say, now, what do you expect from a low-level government bureaucrat in reference to you? That is what I am doing. I am starting as a low-level bureaucrat, and probably will remain that way. Live on the same road that the data center is going to be built. No problem with data centers. Problem with the fact this road already has traffic issues. 750 new houses going in, which means you're going to have, the 750 new houses. It's funny because those are going to be a big drain on the water. They're going to be a taxing on the roads. And it's funny that at the end of, she died in, I forget which, was it Endgame she died? No, she died in the first of those two movies, right? Anyway, she died in one of the Avengers Infinity War or Endgame. I think it was Infinity War that she died in. And then her sister took over as Black Widow and has been ever since, and was in Thunderbolts as Black Widow. So you obviously did not see Thunderbolts. Because she is that. Well, they didn't swap out. I mean, again, it was portrayed in the films. I promise you. Okay, let's see. 149 checking in. Gloomy day looks like it's gonna rain. I like that. Gonna rain. Some more. Have a blessed day. There you go. Yeah. Oh, gonna rain some more. There you go. What is the holdup with negotiations? Money? If so, as a veteran professional negotiator, freedom is always more valuable. The money I lost buying up my last non-compete was priceless. No, that is not what the holdup is on the situation. No, that is not. It might ultimately down the road be that, but it's not the main holdup right now. That's all I can really say. Didn't catch it. Yeah, no, she took over after that. I feel like by the end of the Black Widow movie, she was it, but I don't remember. Because I only saw that one once, but yeah, she was in Thunderbolts as Black Widow the whole time, and let me just say this: on screen in the Spider-Man movie, she was just like she was in the Black Widow or in the Thunderbolts movie, same type thing. Wait a Stop it, people! Stop it! All right, let's get into some discussion of the issues, if we could, please. Let's, I guess we'll start with the body recovered on St. Simon's believed to be the result of suicide. This was a thing I was being asked about a lot early on when this happened, because again, the problem obviously is when you discover a body on St. Simon's, especially when it's in public and there's a lot of cars and people in suits and that kind of thing, you get a lot of scuttlebutt, you get a lot of buzz, you get a lot of people speculating, and it's interesting because the actual article, if you reads it, it says police presence piqued the interest of people on social media who posted pictures of officers collecting evidence and investigating the scene near Tabby Cabins in the St. Simon's Marina. Police department told the news the body was that of an elderly man who appears to have taken his own life. News typically does not report on suicides, but did so in this case because of the public nature of the incident. And again, I would like to appeal to the Brunswick News, since I'll be speaking with them regularly now. I'd like to appeal to the folks of the Brunswick News to, and look, I know there are a lot of families don't want it talked about, don't want it covered, don't want it discussed. But the reality is, I think we need to, and I've talked about this before. This is not some brand new thing that I'm bringing to the table here. I think we should talk about suicide more publicly. I think we should talk about suicides that happen more often publicly, because again, I think discussion of that kind of thing needs to be out in the open. I think we need to be having these conversations, and maybe it'll bring a little light. And if somebody is about to do it, they'll recognize that somebody else did it and it didn't improve their situation. And in fact, it did harm their family. It did bring great pain to people who cared about them. I don't know. I just feel like we should make it easier to talk about suicide rather than harder to talk about suicide and shoving it in a back corner like that. I just, it's not a thing I'm a fan of. But that's just me. Camden wildfire is 90% contained. This thing's been, I mean, there was the one day where they shut down the interstate over it, but for the most part, I think it's been in pretty good shape. They've done a really good job. Let's see. Hang on. Nick says, off the movie topic, any thoughts about YMCA closing? Some articles cite federal budget cuts as the reason for the YMCA closing, yet others say it was lack of membership. I will tell you that, she brought the South Georgia that Tommy had made. Actually, it goes up top, doesn't it? Like that when you're seeing it on the highway. There you go. Metal sign too. Metal. I knew it was in here. Mrs. Rifen had to bring it. Anyway, you got to remember, in this day and age, anytime anything happens like that, somebody's going to find a way to blame Trump, and they're going to cite budget cuts. I was actually going to get to that. That's actually in our show prep stuff, but since you bring it up, yeah, the Y is closing over on is that Scranton Connector, I guess, and yeah, it's been interesting because that's been kind of an institution. But I will also say this: I haven't seen, as a guy who's in marketing, haven't seen a lot of like publicity for them, fundraising stuff for them. I just haven't, pushes for membership and that kind of thing. I haven't seen that kind of thing out of them. And you would think that you would. I mean, when we had the radio stations, I promise you, we would have given you ads in exchange for memberships. It's and there are other radio stations that would have done the same thing, and then you could get free ads on at the cost of a membership, and push memberships for everybody else and cite all the benefits that you get, the basketball courts and the swimming pool and the weight rooms. And I just don't know that there was an awareness that you actually have to go out and get members. And I think that may have been the biggest thing, but that's just me. Article says 13 years. Was there something in that location before the YMCA? The YMCA, no. What it is it was 13 years. My understanding, it was 13 years of YMCA. It was YWCA before then. But yeah, the building's been there for a long time. Let's see. I agree, Scott. It should be easier to talk about it. I had a basketball player when I used to coach basketball youth league. He didn't commit suicide. So it needs to be. So yes, it needs to be talked. He didn't do it. Okay, I got you. Yeah. Families of the real victims of suicide. The subject no longer deals with it. Yeah, and again, that's why I think we should have that conversation much more out in the open. I don't think we should hide it the way they do. But that's just me. Brunswick Housing Authority should have helped YMCA. They always stop. YMCA needs a grant. Remember, grants are too evil. Seriously, I wonder if the Y reached out to local businesses for support. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. It doesn't seem like they understood that you don't just if you say you want to open a store, and like your goal is, I've always been into needles and threads, and I want to open a needle and thread store. Period. By golly, we've got to open the needle and thread store. And then you go get the small business loan, and you go out and you open a needle and thread store, and then you sit back and go, I can't wait for all the like-minded needle and thread people to come find me and visit me. And then nothing happens because you didn't do anything to go out there and let people know that you're there, that you're available, that you have products they want, that you have something that is of use to them as a person. It seems like they just didn't do enough in that regard. Based on what I was seeing, I just didn't see it. And they could have gone to the paper. I'm sure the paper would have traded stuff out for them. That needed some updating, and that's fair. But again, you do that through getting memberships. The Y simply had a product that didn't sell. Sure, but again, why didn't it sell? I think it was a sellable product. One of the things that came from the podcast boy chat logs was that people were having problems with Bailey's. You can certainly work out very well at the Y. And again, you get all those other amenities with it. It would be neat if you get figures of Vader standing over Luke from Empire Strikes Back and set them on your boom mic. That's ambitious. That's very, very, very ambitious. Has there been any outreach? I don't know. There's an article in the paper about it shutting down. That's all I really know is that. I know that many of them just thought of them as a place for swimming lessons, nothing regarding membership, et cetera. Yeah, exactly. And so, memberships were good. They had classes. They led water aerobics classes and swimming lessons. And again, they had weight rooms where you could go work out. They had the basketball court. I loved the basketball courts. I thought they were really neat. The pool was very nice. The variety of different things you could do at the Y. And I don't know that everybody understood that. So I don't know. Is that a real question? I don't think so. That's all. Here's what I know. iHeart says they're going to broadcast them. iHeart has not reached out to me to help them broadcast them. Therefore, my answer is I don't think I'm going to be. Now, iHeart could reach out at the last minute and say, hey, we would like you to help us broadcast those games. But for right now, it's not a thing. Not for right now. Let's see. Need a number. Okay. I don't know your name, but Monkey Lover is going to be 190. That is my third number for today. So that's it. Be interesting to know who was on the local YMCA board and what, if anything, they did to keep it funded. Yeah, sure. What you're saying is the YMCA location is a sound business model, and any entrepreneur could easily get a business loan and reopen it and make a killing as long as you do marketing. I don't know what their business model was, but I would say that a place that does fitness and swimming and water, indoor swimming and outdoor swimming and basketball, and I would say that it certainly would be possible to do it. Yeah, it would be possible. Sure. I don't want to jump the gun. Can we have a Gaston update? I don't have an update on Gaston. I would like to have an update on Gaston. I have left the pictures of Gaston in my media files so that we can bring him up if we do learn anything. There is Gaston. And Gaston, he's coming in on like 630 days at the shelter, and he is now on the euthanized list. So we certainly hope that things will go well, but we'll see. All right. So all of that having been said, let's move on to our next story. Can you give me what? Oh, you're giving her treat. Who is her? Oh, it's Sweetie. Okay. I don't know if you saw this or not. Keisha Lance Bottoms was in town. I knew it because there was a big post from her campaign on social media talking about how amazing the crowd, huge crowd, 300 people. I guess it's all right. You think somebody who wants to be the next governor of the state of Georgia would be a little bigger than that, but I don't know. I don't know what Rick Jackson's thing was, but I don't know who pushed what. I don't know. Doesn't seem like 300 is a massive, massive, enormous crowd. And I saw the video of it. It was not an impressive array of humanity either, but she was in town. So Rick Jackson and Keisha Lance Bottoms have both swung through the area now, and we'll see what happens from there. Police, slow down. Now, one word. Don't pass buses and keep safe as school starts again. Let's see. By this time next week, school will be back in session. Police will be on high alert for drivers who fail to follow traffic laws intended to keep children and their families safe. Now, here's the big rub here. Chief among those laws is the one prohibiting anyone from passing a school bus when it's stopped to pick up or drop off children. When the school bus sign is out and blinking, it is against the law to pass it from either lane of traffic on a street without a median. And let's circle that, because that means, like, if you're on 82 and the road has a median, like there's grass between the sets of lanes, you can keep driving. And it's always a little vague about that. And there's always somebody who does not understand that. I've come to realize there's a lot of things people don't understand about driving. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's see. How many of the 300 were actually local? That I do not know. I know some of them were. But not I don't know. I don't know who all was there. I recognized a couple of them from the video, but not much. We've done that one. We've done that one. Oh, this one. Yes, this one. Here we go. Hamas and Israel pledge to hold firm in Gaza. That's right. They have a ceasefire in place. Hamas said it has agreed to disarm as long as Israel withdraws from Gaza and agrees to the establishment of an independent Palestinian state, which, by the way, they pretty much had in Gaza until October 7th. They pretty much, they were electing their own leadership. They were being left alone. So I did think the headline was a little bit wrong. Hamas, Israel pledged to hold firm in Gaza. So I did fix the headline for them. There we go. Okay. That's actually what we're talking about here. Let's not be dishonest here. Hamas said it will agree to disarm. It will not agree to disarm. It will not be disarming. Israel knows this by now. They have to dance a dance that is very sad, because if they just eradicate Hamas as they should, they'll get, the genocide. They're not eradicating Hamas, and they're getting, accused of genocide. If they were to actually do it, then they would get even more so accused of genocide and turn the international community against them, who are really, honestly, most of the international community are just playing games. They know these guys aren't committing genocide and all that, but they're saying it because they know they can, be heard screeching and be part of the discussion and the dialogue if they do that. So Hamas and Israel pledged to hold firm in Gaza until Hamas rearms. So there you go. I fixed the headline for you. I'm happy to do so. And that's exactly how it will happen, by the way. Just saying. Let's see. What do we have? We'll miss the Parkinson's boxing classes at the wire. Did they have that? Did they have, again, this may be a good example of, again, maybe the business wasn't being run the right way. I've never heard of that. I would think the last thing you'd want to do is hit somebody with Parkinson's in the brain. I don't know, but I don't know much about this stuff. How about a suicide turning lane? They did call those suicide lanes. You're right. Turning lane in the middle. If it's a turning lane in the middle, you have to stop because it's open. It's only when there's a physical separation between the lanes of traffic that you don't have to stop. In other words, a median, a concrete curb, a barrier, clearly, that kind of thing. Yes, lots of things people understand about driving traffic make you lose your faith in humanity. Yeah, that's got to be frustrating for you, who's done the job of working it. It's what it's like the other day. It was one of the big lightning storms the other day. The light at 82, 303, and 17 went out, as it often does, and you realize people don't understand. You're supposed to treat it like a four-way stop. And so one car would go because it was his turn, and he's right. And then the next three cars behind him are going. And you're like, dude, you are going to get somebody hurt because you're not following the rules of the road, for crying out loud. Let's see. If the Y would have given roundabout lessons, it could have made a kid. Yes. Roundabout lessons. Yeah, they would have been fine. Hunter says, good morning. We definitely do that. Let's see. Public notice request. The Blythe Island peanut crop is not for sale. A lot of peanuts for sale on Blythe Island, though. So speak for yourself on that front. Here's where we feel bad for Doug. Doug Harris, does a fine job as a restaurateur. And yet sometimes Doug Harris has to deal with things that no human being should have to deal with. Check this one out. Police were called to the Toucan's Ale House because a man was stumbling outside of it around 6 p.m. as he walked to a truck. Now, again, if you're going to be stumbling, 6 p.m. is a little early to be stumbling drunk. Midnight, 1, 2, okay, somebody's stumbling drunk. 6 o'clock? When officers arrived, they found the man sitting in a truck who appeared to be heavily intoxicated. How dare that truck be intoxicated? I would say when officers arrived, they found a man who appeared to be heavily intoxicated sitting in a truck. That's just me. Second man who had apparently been at the bar with him was there as well, and they appeared to be in an argument. They're both sitting in the truck, I guess. Officers separated the men. The officer talking to the man in the truck, asked for his identification, but the man handed him a credit card instead. Telling the officer it was to pay his tab because, the officer is the one who's going to be taking your bill, of course. And how that guy got out there in the parking lot stumbling around without having paid his tab is a whole other question. During the conversation, the second man became aggressive and attempted to intervene. The man in the truck told police he had driven up from Florida for a few drinks and intended to drive back to Florida. I see nowhere where this could be a problem. He drove up from Florida for a few drinks. He's now going to turn around and drive back to Florida with a few drinks in him. Nothing to see here. Please disperse. The problem with that, aside from his apparent intoxication, was that he was not sitting in his truck. Yes, that's right. That is the twist ending here. The Rod Serling, O. Henry twist ending is that the truck he was sitting in the whole time wasn't his truck. An employee came outside and informed officers that the truck was his. The man in the driver's seat admitted he actually drove a Ford F-150. Once out of the truck, both men became belligerent with officers. The second goes so far as to take his shirt off and square as if to fight. Both men were arrested. Go figure. Oh, my goodness. Yes. Yes. No doubt about that. What's your name, sir? He probably couldn't have answered that. Oh, what's your name, sir? MasterCard. Oh, gee whiz. Come on. Let's see. Willie, come on. Now, your profile picture on Facebook makes it look like you just took that picture while you were in bed. Are you in bed on that picture? But yeah, there are a lot of reasons why I will never go into being a restaurateur, no matter where my muse takes me. It is never going to take me there because I don't want to have to deal with that. I don't have to deal with that. I worked food service for about 2 weeks in my life and went, never doing this again. And I didn't even have to deal with all the drunks. I was just making sandwiches. I can't even imagine that. So, Doug, my hat's off to you because I don't know how you do it. I don't know. Fortunately, you don't have to do it a ton, but you do have to do it some, and God bless you. Again, we were talking about suicide earlier. Rise in U.S. preteen suicide rate alarms mental health experts. Again, this is one of those things where, remember, why is there a rise in preteen suicide rate? Because we endorse and encourage mental illness. We reward mental illness. Somewhere there's a pendulum here and it swings back and forth, but there's also like a balancing thing. There's scales. You balance them. And for some reason, we went from we shouldn't stigmatize people who have mental illness, which I agree with, to we should celebrate their mental illness. And at that point, you go, wait. Because what happens, again, anything you encourage, anything you reward, anything you commoditize in a society, you're going to get more of. So why do we have this? Because sadly, we endorse and encourage mental health problems in our society. We reward them. And I hate to say that. I'll give you a good example. And here's some audio. There's some language in this one, but I'm not on broadcast right now, so I can play the language. I just do want to warn everybody first about it. But this is a real thing. This is and it's about a minute and a half. So I'm going to narrate it a little bit as this goes on. In fact, I probably should brought my headphones on this one, but I'll try to listen to it this way. So here we go. This is a woman. Can't make this up. You know how you have the gender reveal parties for the baby? And that's the thing. We didn't do that. Back in the old days, we would be having a baby and we'd get the scan and we go, oh, look at the little stem on the apple. And then we'd tell everybody, hey, it's going to be a boy. And that was it, right? And now, of course, you have to have a big party and you have to have balloons and go-karts and, you have to blow stuff up. And, oh, look, if it's pink powder, it's a girl. If it's blue powder, it's a boy, even though there's nothing to distinguish the genders whatsoever, according to the left. But So they have the gender reveal party. This is a woman having an autism reveal party. And this is one of those things, and I'm trying to give you the visuals here for this. There are gender reveal parties where you have a cake. You know what I'm talking about here. You cut the cake, and if the cake is pink, then you're having a girl. If the cake is white or regular, or not white, what am I saying? If the cake is white, you're having a white girl. Now, if the cake is blue, then you're having a boy. You know that whole thing. Well, she has a cake, and she is revealing her diagnosis. And if the cake is rainbow colored, she has autism. If the cake is just plain, then she has ADHD. I swear to you. So here she is. And by the way, the best part of this is if it's rainbow, she's autistic. If it's black and white, she's got ADHD. She starts cutting into it. Then she gets the little cake, the thing you ladle out the piece of cake with, whatever it is. Oh, she's using a rubber spatula. No wonder she can't get the cake apart. And then she just about throws the whole cake on the floor. And now she's still hacking at it with a knife because she can't get the cake cut.
Holy shit. Okay.
See, I told you a little bad language. Sorry about that.
Oh my God, Barbie.
And then she finally is still hacking. She's still hacking away at it. She can't quite get the cake out. Finally, she gets the piece of cake out. And it's rainbow. She has autism. And they're all celebrating her autism diagnosis now.
Happy Autism Day!
Now she's dancing. She's dancing because of her autism diagnosis, and that's a thing. And so they were excited and happy for her. They had a choice. The reveal was either going to be she had autism or she was ADHD. And when it came out, she was autistic. Everybody, oh, that's so wonderful and so great. And she had a big party to reveal her autism diagnosis. Again, we have gone from don't stigmatize, which I get, which is meaningful, to you're great because you have this. It's amazing you have this. Everyone should have this. And then everybody goes, oh, well, I'd like to have some of that. Look how she gets treated special and gets celebrated for it. She gets to have a party because she's autistic. Not because she did anything, accomplished anything, but literally because she has something in her brain that needs treatment. We commoditize disability. We encourage it. You know, you've seen the trans disabled people who want to lop off their arms so they can be disabled. Why? Because there are benefits to it. And it's sad, but it's a thing. Gender reveal parties are the root cause of peanut allergies. Here first. Yeah, I don't know about that. Let's see. To add that, doctors are putting preteens on meds, and once they hit puberty, chemically they're wrecked. Hence, mental health issues are in full swing due to the chemical imbalance. There you go. There you go. In the words of Bob, that's stupid. Exactly. Will you come to my diabetes reveal party? We'll have a sugar-free cake. Oh, you can't fix stupid, and that was stupid. Want a chromosome count for that parent? I mean, and well, again, this is a young woman. I mean, this is not even, for a kid. This is a grown woman who is celebrating an autism diagnosis. And again, this is something that should be treated seriously and something, but not something that you go, well, this makes you even better and more special. And again, I know there's a fine line here, and somebody will accuse me of going over the other side of that line, but I'll say again, we should not stigmatize people who have autism. I know some very wonderful people who have been diagnosed autistic. Some of them I don't think actually are, but they've been diagnosed that. So who am I? But it's not a thing you should be out there celebrating. It's a thing you shouldn't stigmatize. And somehow we crossed that line. I'm not sure when that happened. Let's see. My kid has autism, thankfully high functioning. My wife, through his diagnosis, learned she does too, which I figured, but we didn't celebrate it. We got right to the treatment to help for you. It's not a celebration. We tell our son nothing's wrong with him, but he has some oddities he has to learn to. Yes, exactly. When he does things that would get him fired or ostracized, we bring it to his attention and tell him, exactly. That's what you do. And again, nobody's saying to stigmatize it. Nobody's saying you should stigmatize kids who have anything like that. Or adults who have anything like that. But you don't throw a party celebrating it either. It's not doom and gloom, the end of the world. They'll be able to function. They'll be able to get by. They'll be able to live lives. But you don't have a reveal party. What if it had been ADHD, by the way? Would she have been glum and depressed? Oh, she knew anyway. She had the cake made. Benedictine alum Carter Holton traded from the Braves to the Kansas City Royals. Kind of sad for a Savannah kid who probably grew up loving the Braves to have to go there. I don't know Carter Holton, but I'll just say this. It was probably just as distressing when it happened to Adam Wainwright getting traded to the Cardinals. But I think he would agree in retrospect, it was the best thing that could have happened to him. So remember that. If you don't get the thing that you thought you were going to get and you really wanted it, there may be something else for you there that's better. I think Adam Wainwright had the career he had because he got traded and had some people that could kind of get him on track where he needed to be. 5 teenagers arrested and charged in the Fellwood Drive shooting. This was the July 25th Fellwood Drive shooting that injured 3. Now, and listen to this now. Jaquan Cooper, 17. Caleb Deddy, 17. Jamari Fields, 18. And Keontae Williams, 19, were arrested Friday, a Savannah Police Department spokesperson said. Johan Arena Vasquez, 18, was arrested Saturday. So the oldest, there's one 19-year-old, 2 17-year-olds, 2 18-year-olds. All 5 were charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault. I guess they were members of a group. I would assume that they're some part of a group as we continue to keep hearing. Because nobody will say gang in Savannah, but they're members of a group. Actually, SAV did a really good piece a couple of years ago on the gang activity up there, but anyway. Mayor Van Johnson said GBI is looking into the potential misuse of the Flock Safety License Plate Reader System. According to a statement released on Johnson's Facebook page, 4 officers in the Savannah Police Department, as well as 2 civilian employees, are on administrative leave. These cases have been referred to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation for independent criminal investigation, and disciplinary action up to and including termination is being pursued. He went on to say the trust of the public is non-negotiable. These tools exist to keep our community safe. And he's correct. And that's the thing about the flock camera. People are going crazy about the flock cameras now. And what I'll say is what I've said for a while. I'm not in love with them. I'm not in love with them. But there's nothing illegal or unconstitutional about them. I mean, and it's really funny to me because we had a rash of people who are out there being First Amendment auditors who are doing exactly what the flock cameras do. Literally going and standing out in public and videoing people. And then when people had an issue with it, they'd go, I have First Amendment right. What are you doing? Why are you stopping me? Why are you harassing me? I have the First Amendment right. Photography is not a crime. Photography is not a crime. And it's long been established that if you're in public, you have no expectation of privacy. However, again, we'll make sure that we have a good special on the flock foilers if you'd like these. And we'll try to get them in several different hair colors and hair types and everything so that everybody feels comfortable and represented. Flock foilers will be available at Rifin.com very, very, very soon. But again, the proper procedure, because what people will do is these things will happen and they'll send me the note and say, see, the flock cameras are terrible. And the flock cameras didn't go look up people's information. The bad officers looked up people's information. So, to me, it's like, there are some cops who shoot people erroneously or out of malice. Some people in law enforcement shoot their spouses. But that doesn't mean you take the guns away from all of law enforcement. because an instrument that they use is misused. You do what these guys are doing, you investigate them, and then you prosecute them, and you hold them responsible for it. And that's what happened. Hilton Head, another shooting in Hilton Head. Man charged with attempted murder following a Saturday shooting at a Hilton Head Island apartment complex that left one man injured. Mayor Alan Perry said Sunday. Beaufort County deputies responded to Sandalwood, really? Is that how it's spelled? Terrace complex after an argument between two men escalated into an exchange of gunfire. The injured man was taken to the nearby hospital while the subject initially refused to surrender from his apartment, which means they got the barricade and the bullhorns. Yay. Let's see. Got a blue and purple flock flitters. You're right about that. You're right. Blue-haired flock flitters. We will have to do that for sure if we're going to sell them. Devices and/or inventions are rarely unconstitutional. It's improper use of them thereof that can be the problem. Exactly. Bad apples. Kathy says over the weekend in Atlanta, the flock cameras helped recover a stolen vehicle with a 2-year-old in the back seat in a car. They do good things. Well, they don't do good things. The people use them for good purposes. The cameras themselves are, I'm going to call them values neutral, if you don't mind. Georgia Democrats converged on the hostess city Saturday as the party's state convention was held at the Savannah Civic Center. Most nominees for each statewide and federal office were in attendance and delivered speeches highlighting their platforms for the upcoming election. This explains why all the freaky looking people were. I thought they were doing Comic-Con. Didn't we just do a story where they were having to delay Comic-Con? And all the freak jobs walking in. I thought Comic-Con, but no, turns out it was a Democrat convention. So I guess Comic-Con still has to wait until sometime next year. Darn it. We must not let China plead the fifth on COVID's origin. This is for real. The lab leak. I mean, honest to goodness, outside of people who are just purely indoctrinated, how many people really believe that virus didn't come out of that lab? Now, no matter how you think, whether it was an accident or whether you think it was an engineered weapon of biodestruction, whatever. I mean, come on. We all believe it came out of the lab, right? You have to be deeply, deeply, deeply steeped in stupid to not believe it came out of the lab. And China needs to answer those questions. Absolutely 100%. They need to answer those questions. And they can't just go, oh, we know nothing, sorry. It's not going to happen. Black Business Expo hosted over the weekend by the Black Chamber of Commerce. So I guess next weekend will be the White Business Expo hosted by the White Chamber of Commerce, right? Is it? No? Why not? Oh. So nowhere are white people a minority, and you get to group yourself and isolate yourself by race based on what? I thought separate was not equal. That was 1954. We determined all of that. Brown versus Topeka Board of Education. That was a thing. Local data center brings potential payoffs for families, county official says. Effingham County Manager sat down Friday to ask WSAV asking how the $20 billion data center investment will affect the everyday person. Effingham County Manager Tim Callahan said the data will generate revenue and sales tax that can improve the quality of life among the county. I'm a little dicey. I'm a little fuzzy on the sales tax thing, but my understanding is the property tax revenue will escalate dramatically. We literally could have probably the lowest property tax rate in the state, or at least one of the lowest ones, certainly the lowest in Southeast Georgia, Callahan said. The project could double East Blost collections, and help move capital projects forward, such as road, park, and infrastructure improvements, Callahan said. I don't know how the sales taxes are going to double. That one I don't quite get. No, unless they're just buying all the equipment in Effingham, I don't know. I don't understand that at all. But I think, the property taxes will go up, and I think that's a thing. Let's see, what else do we have here today? That's the same thing. The 6 Planet. So that's how many Savannah police employees are being investigated. And again, look how many Savannah police employees there are. 6 of them. It's more than you want it to be, but they're looking into it. They're going to get that looked into, and they're going to get it investigated, and hopefully you'll see some charges there out of it. Somebody was asking earlier about a Gaston update. Sadly, do not have. sadly do not have a Gaston update. I would like to have a Gaston update other than apparently his fashion sense is still really, really awful. Maybe that's why they haven't, nobody's adopted him yet, but I find that hard to believe because look at that. Look at that guy. That's a guy who needs a belly rub, is who he is. And that looks like a McDonald's. So he's living his best life. Well, he's not living his best life because he's still in the pound. And he's been there for 630 odd days. So, and I know he's on the list. We'll see. I don't know if I'm going to be out there specifically today. But, I'll be in the system. I'll be able to talk to people. I'll be able to see what's going on with him. Don't forget again, Brantley County Wildfire Swinging for Hope Golf Tournament. September 19th at City at Club Lost Plantation in Rankin. Sponsorships are available. There's the number. And 100% of the money that's raised is going to stay in Brantley to help families rebuild. And that is a beautiful thing. I don't know how they're allocating it, but that they're doing it makes me very happy. Did I get your text earlier about the Roomba thing? Apparently not, because I don't remember seeing anything about a Roomba. I don't know anything about that one. Sorry. Let's see. That's sad. Checking out messages. Okay, hang on a second. There. Okay. Let's see. Many people, they're against flock camera, say it's a violation of the Fourth Amendment. Right. Yeah, they do say that. But the problem is it's long been established that if you're out in public, you do not have a Fourth Amendment right to if you're out in public. I mean, that you have a Fourth Amendment right as in they can't go through your pockets, but you don't have a Fourth Amendment right to not be seen publicly. That's just not a thing. And, they have a right. You don't have a right for have them come in there and just frisk you out of nowhere. But you don't have a right to be invisible. Sadly. FCC wants to outlaw Roombas. Well, there was I wonder, is that correct? And the FCC wants to outlaw Roombas? The only reason I ask that is it almost seems like somebody's got a real beef with Roombas. Not just the FCC. I don't know if you know about this one, but the company iRobot was struggling a while back. And I think it was Amazon. Somebody like that. They wanted to merge, and they were going to merge. I think it was Amazon. Amazon was going to buy them, and then they got denied, and a Chinese company had to buy them. So somebody's had a beef against them for a little while. I don't understand that. Let's see. Can you explain why the county needs propaganda communications officers? No, you need a check, but going to be a conflict in reporting what's really going on in the county. Well, I knew somebody would say that. But again, it's part of the conversations we've had. Is I'm not going to lie because I'm getting a paycheck. But also, why do the county need propaganda? And I will think you'll find the job term is not propaganda communications officers. But the reality is there are things that have to be communicated to the public, and the county has a responsibility to do it. And, it's funny because when we have things happen, one of the things I hear the most is the county didn't do a very good job of getting the information out, even at times when I think they did a stellar job of getting the information out. A lot of people go to me and go, I had to go to you to get the information because the county didn't put the information out. And it's like, well, where do you think the information I had came from? It came from the county. But, it's funny because the second we have an emergency, a hurricane, shootings, bad wreck at 82 and 303, all of a sudden people are like, why didn't the county tell us these things? And then on the other hand, why does the county need people to tell people information? So, but yeah, I mean, look, I knew, and I had this conversation with one of my old bosses, and he said, you're going to be able to do this. And draw the line. And, the county's thing with me, I think, was basically you can't use inside information you gathered through the process of doing your job to go on there. But doesn't mean I can't get information from outside and, and go accordingly. But yeah, we've had that. But you'll find the term is not propaganda communications officers. And you'll also find that when you need information from the county, you'll be happy you got it. View the flock cameras like I view the Patriot Act, too much power for the people in power. On the one hand, I get that because I'm a little hinky about it. I mean, I don't like the idea of being spied on. But at the same time, it's been established as a very loudly been established as a thing that's perfectly legit and legal. That's the thing. Because SCOTUS has never gotten it wrong before. No, they've got it wrong before, no doubt. I'm using Roomba like Coke, all robot. Yeah, okay. That's sad though. I don't get that. Why would you want to get rid of all robot vacuums? I mean, the Roomba is such a time saver for most people. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? If we're going to use the flock cameras, we need safeguards. Absolutely. Like notifying supervisors as to what you search and why, when you do it. It includes flock employees and cops. Anyone with access should have oversight to catch misuse faster. Yeah, in fact, a lot of places are starting a lot of places have like a flock page where you can see who logged into the flock. And you can't see the information they looked at, but you can largely see what they did. And so you as a private citizen can know if somebody was looking into you or something like that. So, yeah, I agree there should be strict supervision of it because it is a thing that can be misused. And we need to make sure it isn't misused. FCC expanded its ban on foreign-made advanced robotic devices to include robot vacuums. So are they saying that your iRobot is spying? Here's the thing. If the federal government could have prevented all of that just by letting an American company buy Roomba or iRobot. Sorry, iRobot's the name of the company, which is kind of ironic since it's the name of a book and a movie, but a book primarily about robots becoming sentient, etc. But yeah, they could have stopped that. They could have kept. The problem is there's not really a great American robotics company that's doing vacuums anymore because, again, like I said, iRobot got bought out by the Chinese because the Federal Trade Commission blocked a merger. Teens arrested were all members of the How Do You Spell My Name gang. Ooh, I couldn't spell those names. Not most of them. Robotic lawnmowers again, it's maximum overdrive vibes. There you go. In your new job, will you have access to the flock cameras? Will you have to wear a tie? No, and I think not. How's that? No, and I think not. I'll say probably occasionally I will have to wear a tie, but that's it. Now that lady who's autistic will think the Roomba is listening to her. Stop it! Just stop it! What are you doing? All right. There was a couple of other things I wanted to get to really quickly. Zoran Mamdani unveiled his grocery stores. And one of the things we talked about last week was, what if you're not a New York City resident? You can still, you got to understand that metro is huge. It's very easy for people to ride into the city who don't live in the city. And the question is going to be, and we asked this question last week. What are they going to do to keep people who are not New York City residents from shopping at the New York City grocery store? Mayor Mamdani was asked this question. Here is his answer.
How are you going to keep people from taking advantage of that, that deal basically? And is there going to be a limit on the number of items that someone can take that are discounted at that level from that essential basket?
So our RFP makes very clear that this is a program for New Yorkers to be able to put food on the table, not a program for people to be able to make a quick buck through reselling. I'm going to pass it over to our EDC head, G-Pack, to add some additional details.
Yes, if you look at our RFP for the operator, we are looking to make sure that we target New Yorkers, whether it be at sort of a library card exit, and also we manage who's buying and that is focused on everyday New Yorkers. So we are mindful of that, and so we're going to make sure that we have all the things in place to ensure that.
Notice what she said, and let's go back and listen to what she slipped in there really quickly.
We target New Yorkers, whether it be at sort of a library card esque thing, and also
Well, sort of a library card. So I don't know if you understand what they're saying here. But what they're saying is, in order to prove that you're a New Yorker, to be able to get the advantages and the breaks of the New York owned grocery stores, you are going to have an ID card. Now, I think this is ridiculously awful, horrible towards minorities. How are minorities going to be able to shop? How are these minorities going to be able to shop at the grocery store because they can't get IDs? Suddenly, they have to have an ID. Suddenly, it's okay. Once, and again, you have to understand the goal of socialists. The first thing they have to do is destroy what's there. And and everybody needs to kind of keep this in mind. That this is, because a lot of times people will go, well, these are well-intentioned people who are just trying to do their thing. I don't agree with them, but they're certainly well-intentioned. You got to understand, the first salvo is not well-intentioned. The first salvo is destroy what you have. Then after that, then they'll put in their socialism. But first they have to destroy the system as it exists. So when they do this talk about, you can't have an ID, and then they make up minority people can't have an ID, which again, I'm sure you've seen the videos of the guy walking through Brooklyn and Harlem asking black citizens how tough it is for them to get IDs. And they're like, what are you talking about? What are you, an idiot? I just go down to DMV. It's right around the corner. Because it is not tough for people. Yeah, what about the women who can't get an ID because their birth certificate doesn't have their current name? And turns out all of that wasn't true either. That was another one of those Democrat lies. Yay. But yeah, you're literally talking about, suddenly when it's time for us to implement our socialism, now you got to have an ID card. Well, this is for a reason. Don't you understand? This is for a reason. We have a good reason for it. Before, there wasn't a good reason. It was discriminatory, but this isn't discriminatory. It only will help us discriminate between citizens and non-citizens of New York. So, yeah. And your data will be tracked and sold by the city of New York using their grocery store. Probably so. Flock cameras will track you when you leave the confines of the boundaries of your 15-minute city. Mayhap. But again, you're out in public. We've established that you don't have a right to privacy there. So I'm not trying to talk about that idiot. Sorry, not going to do it. They're not well-intentioned. They're communists. Exactly. Yeah. Let's see. Does Brantley County not have a housing? Well, no, they don't have projects. So of course they don't. Yes, exactly. Again, you can get the ID, even if your birth certificate doesn't say it. And you can get a new birth certificate, by the way, really easily. Again, talk to me about getting birth certificates and Social Security cards. I haven't needed anything like that in a long, long, long time. Flock does not track where you go. It captures single points in time and locations, only captures the back of vehicle and license plate. Same information as public information visible to anyone at any time. And that's why it's legal. There you have it, right there. Wait a minute. Where did, there we go. Am I going to get my ring and learn the secret handshake today at orientation? I hope so. It's been a long time coming. By golly, I've been carrying the water for these guys for a long time. I've been accused of being part of their society without being part of it. Now I'll be part of the society. And the bad thing is I won't remember the secret handshake. I will tell you a story. I know I really need to be gone. I need to get out of here, but we'll stick around for a few more minutes. In 2012, I was asked by a friend of mine got himself into hot water by offering to do a lot of panels, and he kind of wanted some help doing the panels. So he called and asked me if I would help him do the panels with him. And I said, yeah, sure. I'd love to help him do the panels. So I think there were 3 different panels we were doing. And so we went down to this convention. And again, I'm not really as much of a comic book guy and a nerd as I am. I'm not really a guy who goes to a lot of conventions. It's just not ever really been my thing. And I would say I've had some good experiences at conventions. I've had some really terrible experiences at conventions. But so I went down. We were going to do these here. And the first day we're there early, right before they open. And we're on the floor because we've got the badge that says we can go wherever we want to go almost. And we're walking the floor and we run into Joel Hodgson. Now, if you don't know who Joel Hodgson is, Joel Hodgson was a stand-up comedian in the 80s, kind of a prop comic, brilliant guy. And he created the TV show Mystery Science Theater 3000. That's probably what he's best known for. And when Mrs. Ryfun and I were courting, we was courting. And when we were courting, that was a period of time where Mystery Science Theater was on like 4 times a day. It was a 2-hour show. So it was like a third of Comedy Central's schedule. It was on all the time. And we would sit on the phone together and watch Mystery Science Theater 3000 together. And that was kind of one of our things. And so, that show's special to us, and Joel Hodgson is special to us for that reason. And so we went over and started talking to him. Well, the convention opened, and of course he's got a table and he's charging people for autographs, and nobody's coming to him. Like, nobody's even approaching that part of the thing. We sat and talked to Joel for probably 45 minutes. We probably sat and talked to him for about 45 minutes and had a great time talking to him. Loved talking to him. And the funny thing was, like, he invited us to his panel. I was like, what time is your panel? And it was like, that's exactly the same time one of our panels is. And of course, our panel got skunked because everybody was at his panel. And then, of course, it turned out we were doing 3 panels that day. He was doing 3 panels. We were scheduled opposite him every single time. And we'd run into him. And he'd go, I'm doing another panel this afternoon. You can come to that one. I go, no, actually, I can't because I'm doing another panel at the same time, Joel. And so, anyway, we sat there for about 45 minutes talking to him, and I felt terrible because nobody was there. Nobody was there. And I don't pay for autographs, just kind of as a rule. To me, an autograph is like it's just like something that established an experience that you had. And so to pay and then get in line and wait and then go through a cattle call for an autograph is, to me, not the same thing as running into somebody or meeting somebody and just getting an autograph spontaneously. I'm not a fan of paying for autographs. And I get a lot of people do this as a sideline for their living and everything. And so I get that. But anyway, so at the end of the whole thing, I decided Joel probably needs his space. We have taken up a lot of his time. There's nobody here. So we didn't stop him from making any money, but I still felt bad. So I felt like, well, we should probably buy the autograph. And so, like he said, because you're the first one today, I'm going to sell you the autograph and I'm going to teach you a secret handshake. And he taught us a secret handshake. And we learned a secret handshake from Joel Hodgson. And we even practiced it and rehearsed it with him repeatedly until we got it down exactly right. And then, was it 14 years later? I don't remember it. I remember none of it. So if they teach me a secret handshake today, I don't know that I'll be able to sneak that one out. But I will, if I get my serpent ring that I think I'll get, I will make sure to take pictures of the serpent ring just to show you that I'm now part of the grand conspiracy. Let's see, Famous Online. Yeah, you just go right in there. Lock cameras will track you to leave the count. Oh, that's that still. I'm sorry, I've skipped up. That's why, because I was looking for that comment about the serpent ring. Good morning, Jamie. Good morning. ID for groceries, of course. Let's see. Heard from a reputable source that flock cameras have the capability to actually connect to your phone, Bluetooth, and access your phone call. Well, show the reputable sources if you would. Let's see. You have to prove you're a New Yorker to use their store. I thought no one was illegal. Well, there you go. Exactly. Thank you. Got your Good Old Boys Club tattoo. That's what I need. A Good Old Boys Club. I'm not getting a tattoo. If that's what it takes to join the Good Old Boys Club is get it, I'm not getting a tattoo. I'm not getting a tattoo. It's just not. It's just not anything I want. Sorry. I don't want it. Let's see. You should be proud of yourself. How do people subscribe to this crap? Which crap? I'm not buying a Roomba until they develop. What? What are you talking about? Don't forget your key to the men's room. Yes. Well, there you go. That will be important, I'm sure. Actually, the flock camera is starting to document bumper stickers, damage, and in some cases, looking to see if you're holding your phone. The slippery slope strikes again. But again, all of that in public. In other words, if a cop drives by you and sees you doing something, now I don't think they should be able to allow you to. Here's what I'll say: I don't think they should be able to accuse you of committing a crime exclusively by the flock camera. But if you're in a crash and the flock camera captures you, holding up your phone right before the crash, then it probably should be admissible. Bluetooth is very limited in its range. Maybe if you're that's the thing about Bluetooth. Yeah, is it can't really. I mean, I can go across the house sometimes, and that's about it. Lock is a tool to catch criminals. I think I see where the next statement of that logical. I see the next logical statement there. You're done there. You did it. People worried about flock cameras have smart devices in their homes and smartphones in their hand. Well, yeah, I mean that's the thing. Is like Roach was telling me one day that they were in their home and their cat peed in the house. Which, by the way, when your cat pees in the house, one of the most miserable experiences you can have because you know what happened. You got to figure out where it happened. It's a thing, and because I used to have cats, and the reason I don't have cats now is because I used to have cats, but. It's just a terrible, terrible experience. And they had a conversation about it. And he said the rest of the day, like all of his ads that he was getting on social media and his emails were for things to get rid of the smell of cat pee. And they never activated a smart device. They just said things in front of their smart device. And I believe that because, again, the smart device is awake on a word. And that means they have to be listening. I mean, they don't just spontaneously awake on a word unless they're listening for the word. So what else are they hearing is the question there. So yeah, you're right. Flock cameras transform into Decepticons. Well, that's a problem now, isn't it? Remember, has a plans in the work for a Dollar General on Parlin Drive on Blythe Island. We have a food dessert here, and Dollar General will be welcome. There is a Dollar General planned on Blythe Island, and it's going to happen. I'm pretty sure it's already been approved. And much to a lot of people's chagrin. Let's see. I heard the flock cameras get together and perform human sacrifices at Secret Camera Richard Kana and AI cameras. There you go. Let's see. There was even cat pre-spam in my wife's work email. Yeah, there you go. Because all the information gets put in one big pot. Is that cat pee spam though, not pre-spam, right? That sounds kind of gross. I've seen them Decepticons turn into flock cameras and shift position. There you go. There you go. Wait, socialist agenda as far as... Oh, how do they subscribe to the socialist agenda? I'll tell you why, because it's easier than working. And they think that you're not going to have to work. That's the thing. I mean, it used to... G-Man, who got out of college here at College of Coastal Georgia, and he's one of those guys who likes to engage other people. He likes to engage people and debate ideas. I mean, I don't know where he got it from, but he likes to have the conversation. And he would come home just frustrated because he'd say, these guys, this one guy he was debating, and he's like, the guy is telling me that he's an artist. And if we went full communism, he would be able to have time to just do his art. And he's like, I couldn't convince him that he was going to be the guy in the factory. you know, that everybody who wants to be an artist, you know, under communism and socialism, and they're far more closely related than a lot of people want to admit in these days and times. But you know, he could not convince the guy that just everybody could just decide what they want to do. And he doesn't understand that when everybody can decide not to work, most people will decide not to work. It's the same reason I didn't like when they turned the middle schools into career centers years ago in Glenn County. And each middle school had a different focus for your career. And I was like, why are we telling 12-year-olds to pick their career? I don't understand that. But the other thing was, one of the schools was a performing arts and sports school. And the thing that always bothered me about that was I knew kids when I was growing up, they either wanted to be movie stars, rock stars, or sports stars. And I think that's modified a little bit. They want to be movie star, you know, they want to be streaming stars. They want to be influencers, and they want to be sports stars and rap stars or whatever. But, you know, when people have a chance to choose not to work for a living, they will. But under socialism, it's presented as you will have a chance to choose. But when it's reality, when it actually functions, you don't get to choose. Let's see. David says, I strongly encourage folks to do some research, educate themselves on flock and flock's audio detection. The problem with that, David, is that when they do the research, what they're going to wind up with at TikTok videos, and they're going to wind up with TikTok videos that tell them all of these evil, horrible, terrible, conspiratorial things about it. And that's, you know, sadly, that's what they're going to wind up with. Because and the reason I say this, let me go back to this, is I have people try to convince me a lot of crazy stuff, and they always say, do the research. And what they mean when they say do the research is they mean watch a bunch of TikTok videos that are full of baloney. Kind of drives me nuts, to tell you the truth. I heard flock cameras hate Star Wars. Well, there you go. I heard flock cameras got Scott Rifen laid off. No, although some people take credit for it, but it's not true. As Scott can tell you, automation leads to a reduction in the workforce. So why is no one talking about how many cops we can get off the payroll? This country is so deep in debt, we need to start cutting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Socialism is a pit stop on the road to Dow communism. There you go. Only difference between the two is that socialism is voted in and communism is forced in. And what you'll find is once you vote socialism in, then communism gets forced in. Or communism gets brought in under the guise of we have to have socialism first in order to get to communism, and then they never really go past socialism. They just gather all the things and keep all the good stuff for themselves. Again, anybody who in this day and age who is in favor of socialism should just spend time reading up on what happened in Ukraine in the 1930s. Honest to goodness. You want to know why those guys don't, you know, it's funny when Russia invaded Ukraine several years ago, and Putin was going on and on about all this history. Oh, in the 1600 we did this, and you know, and nobody cares. But you really want to know why Ukrainians don't want to be any part of Russia? Look at the 1930s. Pay attention to the millions of Ukrainians who were starved to death by Moscow. And I think you'll understand why they don't want to be part of Russia, for one thing. And also, I think you'll also understand how socialism just doesn't work ever. And one of the reasons why it doesn't work is you watch what happened in Ukraine in the 30s. Watch that mass starvation and you'll get it. Decades ago, Hungarian refugee told me communist is a socialist with a machine gun. There you go. Low information folks spreading myth and misinformation. And that does happen a lot in this day and age. Let me tell you something. All right, guys, I think that is going to wrap it up for us today because, again, I got a little bit of a later start than I wanted to today. And therefore, I'm going to have to spend a little more time getting ready for the Secret Society gig where I'm getting my serpent ring today. I'm very excited about all this. I'm just going to get, well, I mean, the question is, what do you get written on the ring? You know, when I had my class ring, I had a big fight with my parents because I wanted to get Kiss put on my ring. And they're, you're not going to get Kiss put on your ring. And I was like, why can't I get Kiss put on? And I wound up winning. I got Kiss put on my ring. I was just like, I don't want a ring then. Fine. Because I don't care about rings. I don't care about, jewelry. I mean, I don't care about jewelry. It doesn't really mean anything to me. But I did get Kiss put on my class ring. But you know, I'm thinking with this, I can just put set, and there you go. Let's see, but I just got here. Sorry about that, man. Please explain what a panel is for the old folk. A panel? I don't understand. When did we mention panels? Socialism's a lot like the Marine Corps recruiter signing a recruit to an open contract. True. I just got here. Spider-Man on your, wow, yeah, that wouldn't be bad. That would look pretty good. I was just going to get the word set on there, but because he's the serpent god. But I could get Spider-Man put on the ring. I think that would look kind of cool. I don't know though. I'm more of a Darth Vader guy, in case you haven't noticed. Oh, like a conference pen. Oh, okay. At a con. Okay. I'll explain that for the old folks. And then I got to get out of here. When you do a convention, when a comic convention happens, it takes up a convention center. There's the main floor, which is where people are selling stuff largely and doing autograph stuff and that kind of thing. And then there are separate rooms. And in those rooms, people will have, an hour discussion on a specific topic. And so, the ones that I was there for at that one of them was, and one of the real reasons I wanted to do the thing in the first place when I was asked was it was on the old Marvel Star Wars comics from back in the 70s and early 80s, which I loved and I still love. I bought 19 of them the other week. Because I'm filling up a spinner rack upstairs. I got several sets of them because I just love them so much. And I wanted to have that conversation. So we did that. I think there was one on Star Trek, which was, it was good discussion. Wasn't 100% my thing, but I still enjoy it. And then the third one, this was interesting. It was an interview with Erin. Why can I not remember her name? I want to say Erin Young, but that's not right. What is her name? From Buck Rogers. And from Silver Spoons. Let's not forget that. I'm blanking now. Anyway, it was an interview with her, and I got to do that one by myself because they only wanted one person to do the interview. And it was funny because she was a Spitfire. Let me tell you. She was, Erin Gray. Thank you. Erin Gray. Thank you. She was a Spitfire. She was great. And we sat down at the beginning and one of my buddies was like, hey, I want to record this and use it for a podcast. So he set up the recorder and she kind of looked at him. She goes, what are you doing? So I was going to record this. She goes, no, I don't record my panels. I went, oh, okay. And then she says, well, the reason I don't record my panels is because I get paid to go around the country and discuss things at these panels. And it would be wrong for me to let you record that. And then, it goes all over the place. And then my stories are all ruined by the time I get there. And we're like, that's fair. And then, one of the questions I asked her was, what kind of a person was Glenn A. Larson? Glenn Larson, she was on Battlestar, not Battlestar, she was on Buck Rogers. So Glenn Larson was the show creator. And she went on this jag, and it was not nice. It was not nice to Glenn Larson. And then at the end of it, she said, and now you know why I don't let you record these panels. It was, Glenn Larson, Knight Rider, Battlestar Galactica, Buck Rogers, Manimal, BJ and the Bear, Sheriff Lobo, he had long, extensive history. Wrote for, Stephen Cannell did the thing, but he wrote for Stephen Cannell for Rockford Files, stuff like that. But she was really sweet. She was really great. She was a lot of fun. But she didn't want you to record her panel. And then she slagged Glenn Larson, just slagged him. It was something else. Let's see. Let me get that number 68 Marvel Star Wars. Are you talking about the Finn Shiza, Boba Fett, Mandalorian warrior stuff? Yeah. And everybody's Aaron Gray. Yeah, I know. Normally, if I'm not doing this and the mic's not on, nothing. I'm fine. But for whatever reason, sometimes the mic's on, you got to come up with that name. Boom. So Robbie says Aaron now represents Comic-Con celebrities as a manager. Well, that's good. Well, okay, first off, you knew from the you knew from the interview that she was very highly intelligent. You also knew she didn't have a lot of filter. She would kind of do or say whatever was on her mind. So somebody who is a manager, I can see that. She knew this. She knew the circuit because again, she knew not to let people record her. She just knew. She knew. So it doesn't surprise me to see that she's now managing celebrities at Comic Cons and stuff, because that's totally consistent with the personality and the intelligence level. Erin Gray apparently made an impression on some of our. Yeah, she made a lot of impression. I mean, Silver Spoons, sure. But then, but Buck, Buck Rogers. Wow. Anyway, yeah, she was Wilma Deering. See, I can tell you Wilma Deering, but I, for some reason, couldn't come up with Gray for some reason. And now people are still saying Gray. I don't know if people are behind or what. But anyway, I do have to get out of here. I got to get running. But tomorrow morning, we'll be back 7 o'clock. We'll get this thing fired up. Her and Linda Carter. Linda Carter. Erin Gray made a very big impression, but Linda Carter was kind of next level. Linda Carter was and then the thing about it is, like, Erin Gray was on a kiddie sci-fi show, so we saw it. But Linda Carter was the star of Wonder Woman, so even the dads were enamored with Linda Carter. It wasn't just the young kids with Linda Carter. She was on another plane of existence for many of us. All right, now I'm going to get out of here. Guys, have a great day. Have a wonderful Monday. Have a terrific week. We will see you tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. I'll let you know how the first day went. I suspect it's not going to be anything really particularly vibrant and exciting. It's probably going to be a lot of fill this out, learn this, let me teach you this class, that kind of thing. So, but it'll be, it'll be educational. And I will show you my serpent ring. Oh, Catherine Bach. Look at people, the Catherine Bach. I was never a Dukes guy. There was TV has a thing. They've always kind of had a thing, but in the 70s, 80s, it was really, really rampant where they would, if something was a hit, they had to do their TV version of it. And I'm not talking about like MASH was a hit, so they did MASH on TV. I'm talking about like Animal House was a hit, so they had to get the rights and did Delta House and Brothers and Sisters and whatever else they did. Raiders was a hit, so they had to do Tales of the Gold Monkey and Bring Them Back Alive. And, there was a version of whatever was big at the time in the movie theater. There was always a TV version of it. And I've always felt like the Dukes of Hazzard was the TV version of Smokey and the Bandit. So I never cottoned to any of the TV versions of any of this stuff. I didn't like the TV ripoffs of things. I was a snob that way. I think I watched the first episode of Gold Monkey and went, okay, that's it. I'm done. I don't think I ever watched an episode of Bring Them Back Alive. But, yeah, I was not a Dukes person because of that. So, yeah, I know who she was. That's why I said that. But anyway, we're going to get out of here. I've taken entirely too much time up on this. You guys have a great day. We will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful, wonderful time. And we'll talk in the morning. Okay? Drop me a note in the meantime. You know where to find it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. YouTube.com/@ScottRifen. You'll get notifications if you ring that little bell. That will tell you when we're going live, and we always try to give you a little countdown so everybody can get settled in and know that those things are coming. We are currently sitting at 1,113 subscribers, and we're growing a little bit every day. So let's just keep growing. I'm going to get out of here. I will see you in the morning.